Well, good evening, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are, whenever you're watching this. This is the Think Tank Show, and my name is Kwame. Um, Today, we're just going to continue with what we started last week. We're going to talk about land management in Ghana. For people who are trying to go back to start something now, more, if you're diaspora, and will be a young person or Ghana where you is trying to start something. One of the most important things that you're going to need, especially if you're going to do something with manufacturing, or if you're going to real estate, farming, and all those things, the most important thing is land, assassin, and trying to deal with land. And I'm sure so most of you people here, some of you have had experience, even trying to buy a piece of land, a lot to build a small house for you and your family back at home. It's becoming an issue. At first, it used to just be in Accra and Kumasi, the two biggest cities. But now it seems like it's everywhere. Trying to buy a house, even there's no proper lay down way that everybody knows and understands when you're trying to buy a land in Ghana. There's always something. You got to be prepared for something. If the land is going to cost, if on paper the land costs $100 and 100 cedis, you have to have another contingency of maybe about 100 or even more than how much the land costs to get that land. Because I promise you, there's going to be some curveballs. There's going to be so many things in the way. And we want to discuss how we can, how we can put together a very good land registration system that will kind of help us manage land, buy land, sell land without any problem in Ghana, just like in what we have here. So that's what we're going to continue with today. But before we get there, we're just going to talk about normal things. Yesterday, there was a big demonstration. Give me a minute. Yeah, I had to turn the air on. It's very hot in here. Just try to prevent myself from baking. Anyway, Thank you very much for waiting. So this demonstration has been the talk of the nation for like the past, I think about 6 months right now. Um, a gentleman by the name of Oliver went to Twitter or Instagram and started a hashtag Fix the Country. And he just named a few of the things he felt that is in the domain of the government to fix. And then he posted it online. And then the rest was history. Everyone had something to say. And so they decided to go on a demonstration. And they fixed the date. I mean, I knew people from the US that were trying to buy the ticket because everybody kind of felt like they had something to say. Now, we also make a demonstration, and the police in Ghana, if you want to go on a demonstration, you don't need a permission from anybody, but you need to let the police know that you're going for a demonstration because they're supposed to provide you with security. And they have to make sure, say, they have enough men to do that. So whenever you're going on a demonstration, you have to let the police know. So they made the police know, and the police went to court to put an injunction on the on the demonstration, saying that we are in COVID time and they don't have a lot of men to help out. So first, I'm going to call court. So we went to court, and the so-called 12 disciples of the Fix the Country, that includes Theodore and Oliver and a few guys all around the world, went to court with them. The matter was quashed at the court, but any time that the case would be thrown out, the date that they had already done. So police started and they say, Ochana Mpesa demonstration, they will take me to court, and then by the time the case will get out of court, it's going to be Saturday. Until that date now, I expire and I have to do it again. So it went all the way through the High Court, all the way to Supreme Court. And Supreme Court said, you know what? You cannot do that. You cannot just take them to court anytime they want to go on a demonstration. Until the Supreme Court threw the case out and appointed them. So yesterday was the day. Everyone, I, for instance, supported the whole thing. And everyone was kind of afraid that if Ghanaians don't show up on the demonstration day, it's going to prove the government's point. Say, you know what, the government is always trying to play down this whole demonstration. So we're already doing our job. Things are fine. I don't know why you guys want to go on a demonstration, but we're doing our job. So if people hadn't showed up in the demonstration, it was going to paint the picture that Ghanaians are not even behind the demonstration. It's, some of us were actually praying very hard to say demonstration. Now, when it started, thank God for social media. Like people from all walks of life and people from all over the country. I'm from Sunyani, from Kumasi, Tamale, everywhere in Accra, Eastern region, Volta region, everybody was there. And it was so peaceful. And the police, I mean, I got to give a shout out to the police. Before then, we had this. I think I have to give you a little background. There was an IGP there from a few months ago called James Opom Buanu or something. Buanu. Yeah. Let me put his picture on the screen. This guy was the IGP that was behind just trying to prevent these people from going on a demonstration. So anytime that they go, they give them the heads up that they're going to go on a demonstration. These guys will just go and yeah, there he is. So if you're watching the screen, the one on your right was the old IGP. And anytime that these people try to go on a demonstration, his men would take the people to court and delay it. By the time the court would throw away the case and say, "Oh, you guys can go for demonstration," the date they had given the police, the notice date had passed, and they had to give them another notice, and the police would then again take them to. So they were just trying to waste their time and frustrate them for them to stop. So this guy, the guy on your right, the older dude, the one in glasses, was the IGP. He's the same guy that told when a policeman driving an armless, an unarmed bullion van was shot in the head and the money stolen. He was the guy that they interviewed and said, if you needed peace, if you needed a crimeless, if you need a crimeless place to live, you better be living in heaven because there's no place on earth without crime. So he was fired after then. And this guy, he's a younger guy. And according to some of the conveners, they had already spoken to him before, way before he became IGP. And he made an announcement that he's going to allow them to go to the demonstration and make sure that peace will prevail he was just going to provide all the policemen. The policemen are not going to intervene. They're not going to do anything. And they're not going to create any problems for the demonstrators. And I mean, true to his words, he kept his words. And, demonstration, of course. And first of all, I want to say shout out to this man. I think his name is Dr. George Akufu Dampare. He did very well, and hopefully, Ghana police, hopefully his tenure of heading Ghana police will be much better than this guy. Mr. Dampare, you did very well yesterday. So Enra Ebaso, Life and Khaled. The revolution was televised. So I'm going to just show you some few clips that I gathered from the internet. And by 2 a.m. 2 a.m. Na metehana meshe.
After 3 months of back and forth with the police that traveled through the country's courts, finally, one of Ghana's most talked about demonstrations happened on Wednesday. What started as a Twitter hashtag has now morphed into a movement that is seeking to put Ghana's political class on its toes. From as early as 6 a.m., people were already massing up.
The scores of demonstrators on the principal streets of Accra today, August 4, with varied placards with various inscriptions. Wamane in Ghana translates as "This is our country." Those supposed to serve eat more than the ones they serve. These are placards that they are hoisting. Fix the responding ex-Russia now. A lot of the other placards all pointing to the same spot, that various sectors of the economy and other spaces of national life which need attention must be fixed now.
I think it's very important that we show that we reject the attitude of the government and we want to create a culture of dissent. It's important that we create a culture of dissent. We show our disapproval.
We are tired of the lies. Article 71 office holders are lies. It is bogus. It is a calculated attempt to steal us. We are tired of the mendacilloquence, the Zabanism, and the political prostitute.
Since Ekukwado came into government in the last 5 years, how many of the community high schools that Mahama was building, how many of them has he completed? How many of these children have not been sitting under these schools and the trees for the last 4 years? Recently, we saw that they said the rosewood that's been exported illegally, they're going to donate it to the cathedral. Would it not be better used if we use it to build schools for these children who are going to schools under trees?
This is rare. Demonstrations in Ghana have largely been led by the two major political parties, the NPP and the NDC. This is different. Here's one of the lead campaigners, Ernesto Yeboah.
As you can see, this is the youth of Ghana speaking. They are tired of NPP, NDC moribund leadership. They are sick of the system. And this is the time for them to voice their concerns. But more beyond it is the fact that today, August 4, is the rebirth of Ghana. And this in itself is a manifestation of that rebirth. But this is not the end. This is actually the beginning. If there are no leaders, the youth will rise up and lead this country to a better future. And that's simply the message we are sending to the rest of the world.
But I'm sure the rest of the world is listening. There's no particular thing that you are requesting to be fixed. And why we're not asking for A to be fixed or B to be fixed, but it seems to be a round of a lot of things.
We won't allow them to fool us anymore. We are not presenting any list to them. Nobody's voice is more than the other. Nobody has more than one vote. We are all equal and we all deserve to be listened to, because we are citizens of this country. If they care, if they are leaders enough, there's only one thing we expect from them: to listen, and to listen to each and every one of us. This is why we are not presenting anything.
This may be one street protest and hundreds have joined, but there are thousands of others who have joined the protest on virtual platforms like Twitter, where it all started.
See, this is one of the innovations about this demonstration that I liked a lot. Because first, Ghana, your demonstration in one way. A lot of people come together, we write our petition, and then there's a long walk of drumming and dancing to whoever we think the leader is. And then we go there and then we give it to the person. And, he tells us, so I've taken this and I'll take care of it, and nothing gets to be done. This demonstration is not about some few people's grievances. It's about everything that is wrong with the country that lies in the domain of the government to be fixed. No private Ghanaian will be able to, first of all, gather the resources, or even can legally go and say, I'm going to go and construct the road from Accra to Kumasi, and from Kumasi to Sunyani, and from Sunyani to Goso, to Techiman, to Gambaga, to Tamale, to Wa, and to Bog. Nobody can do that. Nobody even have the resources to do that. The reason why that's why the government is there. That's why everybody pays a little money. Everybody pays a little money towards pay a little tax so that we can have some money for the government to work on it. And these are the things we want. We want you to do all of them. We are not going to do a list of a few things and say, okay, just get this and that. The Fourth Republic is about 30 years right now, and just very little to show for. And, And you can see the reporter asking the guy, okay, so what are your deliveries? Name 3 things that you want to fix. No, this is not about that. It's not about naming things that we need to be fixed. Everything that lies within the domain of the government has to be fixed and has to be seen to be fixed. And that was what the demonstration about. And Osha, it had a lot of media coverage. I was watching it on BBC Pigeon. I know Kofi TV was showing it. Unia Radio and almost every broadcaster in Ghana was showing it. But I could feel said, the newscasters and they wanted the old way of doing things, asking them what do you need fixed, and name 3 things that you need. That's not what it's about. It's about the government just taking responsibility and doing what the government needs to do. That's what it's about.
Madam Ifiatenge speaks for Accra Region Police.
The leadership has been very cooperative in our discussions as far as the routes are concerned. And so this is the route that we have earmarked purposely for this demonstration. So that's where we got here. And you can see those who are insisting on going straight, they were the people who were not parts of the initial agreements. And so the leadership are aware they are exercise restraints and that they are going to ensure that their followers adhere to the rules that have been earmarked.
Talk to me about COVID protocols. There was a definitive instruction that people must adhere to COVID protocols if they want to join the march. What's been your observation and how do you assess it?
What do you think? You're talking about COVID. look at this guy. Mask on the chin, nose wide open, right behind the woman. Shall COVID in there? I knew you, man. That, to be honest, the COVID was very used at all.
For COVID protocols, I keep on.
Look at him.
And the command's position has always been.
Look at this guy too.
Of this nature, it is always impossible that people would adhere to all the 19 protocols, especially when it has to do with the physical distance. And so, for crowds like this to adhere and not observe spacing, it's not possible. For that one, I know there's going to be some breaches. But for the wearing of masks, we know that it has been very basic, and we have admonished each one of us to take personal responsibility of their own safety.
After more than 5 hours of walking through the streets of Accra, the protesters converged at the Black Star Square to round up proceedings. They say this may be the first of many more to come. For now, though, it waits to be seen whether this will be enough to indeed get the country fixed. Reporting for Joy News, Manuel Conte.
Yeah, so no, sorry for a little bit. So yeah, it's true. I think what I heard from the conveners is that the Greater Accra one is just the first one, and there's going to be a regional fix the country demonstration in every region. So we are waiting for that. Hopefully that will be more like that. I mean, this being successful will encourage people to be on that one too. All right. Secondly, let's go to my favorite minister. The minister that locked. Let me refresh your mind with this one. This is the minister I'm talking about. That's my favorite minister. Minister for Fisheries and Aquaculture. Mavis Howard Pumson. The woman that went and butchered his vetting, but yet got the whole room to accept her as the minister. Oh, Charlie, madam. So some few years some few days or months ago, she went to, I think, Elmina, one of the seashores, and locked the sea. And let me see if I can find that video. I mean, we discussed that, you know, she said like the fishing period had to be closed for a little bit so that to help the fish rejuvenate, so that, you know, we are not going to run out of fish. Whilst the main problem of Ghanaians running out of fish is not that, it's actually the tourists, from the foreign tourists that will be on the sea fishing. Let me see. So she went back to, after locking the sea for a little while and having all this banter with the fishermen, because the fishermen's, their complaint was that this is all we got. If we don't fish, we don't eat. So this lady went out with a big wooden key and locked the sea. And I mean, I've done a whole video. If you go to my YouTube page, the Kwame Tube, there's a whole video about how the sea is being managed in Ghana. That our fishermen don't, you know, they're punished for the crime of others, like people that, you know, fishermen from other countries will come to our seas and fish at night with big nets, and, you know, and our fishermen with their little canoes will be told to stay off the sea for a month or 2 months so that the fishes will rejuvenate. And that's the nonsense they've been going through. You know, after locking the sea and preventing them from going, and I think we did it like about 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. I think a week before she was going to open the sea. What to see for a long time with your wooden key. How they're going to eat, and then you wait till a week before you're going to open the sea, no? And I will talk bags of rice and oil as usual. So, or the common, and this is what happened.
In Elmina, in the central region, on Tuesday, 27th of July, 2021, rejected food items which included rice and oil from the Minister for Fisheries and Aquaculture, Mavis Hawakumsin. The minister arrived at Elmina late afternoon on Tuesday after the fishermen had waited for her since 9 a.m. She was astonished by the irate fishermen's decision to say no to the items. They said the government should have thought of their welfare before banning fishing activities, and that the food items should have been supplied to them earlier and not at the 11th hour. They added they were only 4 days away from the lifting of the ban, and so they could survive until then.
Actually, the minister did not approach the fishermen or give them that support or that rice. But at the end of the cruise season, she blocked that rice and we rejected the rice. That is our problem. You see, when you went to the other fishermen, they were all complaining that not 3 or 4 days to the end of the cruise season, the minister will bring that rice.
Simple.
That is the reason why we rejected the rice.
So what kind of watch from now at the same time, more points in there. Saying you there about to Pumuna. At the same time, no, in Kanyama or to Pumuna, bear 1 week in a died at Abba. Now, walk about 3 days, 4 days, and what to Pumuna and we bring.
The chief fisherman of Elmina, Nana Kwame Bedu, appealed to Mavis Hawakumsin to forgive the fishermen for their conduct, and he hoped the minister would not put them in her bad books.
Oh, Nisu Ofine. The men very yana fall from the Nina what the foam. That a pattern one won't say, Munianji, Nam Salmon was a blow one, Namusumaka, Namuna one was a blow one. I'm Japwe. No, I have no pattern beyond it. A fall from Alanka say Yoko yet no.
So this is the chief of the fishermen trying to do damage control because he knows a retribution will be coming. Because in Ghana, what you don't do is piss off a minister. Okay, ministers are all like they are kings. You cannot piss off a minister. So when the guys did that, they rejected all the food and they were booing her hair and all those stuff. He knew, said retribution. Like there's going to be a problem. The minister is going to come back at them. And there's going to be revenge.
See, I don't know how my sister, I'm not down on one fat and mononco.
According to the fishermen, they don't see the need for such a support while the closed season is almost over. But the chief fisherman of the area, Anabedu, is appealing to the Minister for Fisheries, Hawakumsin, that such a behavior would not repeat itself. From Elmina.
So this is Hawakumsin locking the sea. For people who don't understand what locking the sea is, it's a very short video. Yeah, so there she is. That's the key, and the whole big men of the village and the chiefs are there. So that's Hawakumsin in her jeans and shirt. Yeah, and her big wooden key. Yes, it's going to lock the sea. Oh, Radi Yakobo. Hey, Walokino. And all the psycho fans says, yay. Okay, so after that, yesterday I was going through my usual, and then this is the headline that I saw. Mixed reaction greets Hawakumsin's punishment of Elmina fisherfolk. So after the sea was open, and she took the rice there and they didn't take, she decided, say there, Obia betimiako back to the sea to go fish, apart from people from Elmina. Into Elmina, for not taking the rice, now most of them go fishing. The sea at that part of Ghana is still locked, and the wooden key by Mrs. Efrense, by Hawakumsin, or punish Elmina for. Until Elmina next time, you the rice bar or the munji crab, munjana munfantu baby, because Hawakumsin don't play. That's my favorite minister right there. We're here in the veteran. You would have known that all this was going to come later. Okay, so I think that's all the tidbits I've got for you today. We are going to go to our actual what we're going to discuss today. Land. Try to buy a land in Ghana. If anybody has tried to buy a land in Ghana, they understand. About is saying now, Kwame will sell land to Kofi. Give him all the documents about the land. Kofi has paid all the money. He's taking it to the land registries. He has a lawyer, everything. And then later on, another guy, Kwabena, will come with the same replica documents and have the same claim of the land, also has paid his money and has a receipt to show for at the registries. So what they do is that they will take the case to court, 15 years, trying to find out who actually owns the land. And it's very easy. Over here, if I want to find, I showed you the last time. If I want to find any information about any piece of land in Charlotte, I just go to Polaris, zoom in on the land, and find the land, find the owner, how much he bought it, how many times it's been bought and sold. I'll find out every information about the land before I approach the right person who owns the land and buy the land from. So that's the problem. So tonight, like I promised last time, the management system, I'm going to use land, LIS, and that's what they use over here, Land Information System. And I said GIS, Geographic Information System. And then that's what your little GPS in your car works on. And tonight I've got a friend of mine. He's got a doctorate in GIS, and he knows a lot about GIS. Like I promised you last week, sir, I'll bring him on so that we can discuss this issue. Because Utie Ghana Fauna, if you listen to when Baumia was talking, the whole thing about demons and principalities was about managing land. And he wants to digitize it. And if you listen to the surveyors and people that have a stake in land and management in Ghana, it seems to be a huge thing. Let's just say this project is a multi-100 million project. It's going to take a lot to solve, and it's going to take a long time to solve. And I was like, okay, let me find somebody who knows a lot about these things and let him tell us what it takes for a small town like Sunyani, and I say a city like Kumasi to have a GIS system. And I'm going to bring Claudio on, and we're going to talk about that. Welcome, Claudio.
Thank you.
Finally, I've gotten rid of all the politics stuff, so now you can come in.
Politics, there. I'm out.
Yeah, you're out. Yeah, I understand. So, like, first of all, why would a town, Becca said, we want a GIS system or an LIS system to manage our land? What would be the advantages of that? As to
okay, so Kwame, my friend Kwame, we so actually I think, sir, briefly, I'll just want to explain what a GIS is. At least we are owning what we are talking about. At least we'll be a few examples of it. So typically, GIS is a acronym for Geographic Information System. And yeah, above for Casa. But basically, me find say a system and as a computer home in India. Ye de hwe as ade bia wa asase ho ye betimi de abo a manage and as ye de a monitor,
right?
And he say o hwe to say me ma example bako so o hwe Ghana ye beto and as ye to abano o hwe most of the TV stations no a kwan a omo fa so ye omo reporting obo say bia o hwe Joy FM o hwe me fa say UTV. Who say the map be at Ghana map at fe the constituency be at fe click here no mafa do constituency we see or yes, no, a dear no or the map. And an yentia or clicky one say a geographic just say it refers to a particular place.
Right.
Yes, yeah. And information now or they might no information or my key in our background and Nipana or demonstrating it there. And you know enter information in the background the information has been provided. And it is our information that has been provided. And what the person is doing is that the person indirectly is actually using GIS.
Right.
What you see? Remember, another example. I'm say COVID by you should be as baby could be a country be our map. And what I say a higher hotspot. Had your COVID in a dosu pa a cry dosu Kumasi dosu. Right?
Right.
What the person is actually doing is using GIS. And it's say example way na apply assassin. And see assassin information ben na yebetimi yebetimi why na assassin ya ne dia assassin ne size say assassin no wo hefa assassin no edien adwumadie poten na obetimi aye no so what you see because your farmlands your residential place your commercial place what you see it is that information we now you betimi be akwa and once we gather all this together what we have done is created a land information system,
right?
Essentially.
Oh, okay. Because I'm thinking, like, if you're going to buy a land, if you're going to buy a land in Ghana, one of the most important things that if you mess, you're going to be in trouble is buying the land from the wrong person. And information, trying to get information on any land in Ghana is like trying to find a needle in a haystack.
Yeah, I'm saying, Ghana for the problem we encounter be na I'm saying this week me ankasa bisa kakra say kasa system ben what is the existing system ankasa you meet media manage land. And I think say me started say me bisa no my identify issues a massive problems when na itimiba. The first thing I might identify and say has to do with Ghana kasa asasian kasa hwan dia Ghana right sit down because Ghana you a baby or why you say asasi bia ewura
yep that's true.
See, there is no land that does not have an owner, but until you go onto it
right
and Ghana I'm say yetitri krono yana nanom anase ahemfo no asasi nyina a show monster and you call Google cry. I mean, I will not be very curious. Say, how much? What is the percentage of land that belongs to government? Google says, yeah. Obviously, I know it's a source, not reliable, sir, but obviously it is on Google. So if anybody wants to check it, it's about only 20% in it belonging to government.
Right,
percent belongs to the chiefs. As most of them are here for could be
right.
That's it. Now, and I'm saying I buying answer that in assassin be brave or Ghana just say or vested interest in all lands in Ghana. Or say so he need to assassin me sure so he need to me kind of major taxes.
No.
They are buying one of it me major taxes. I'm buying a vested interest in every lander. Ghana, whether say any dia and any dia, but a vested interest. It is a vested interest in something. It be you, the main profit. Why don't I want to find a way to collaborate with the chiefs and develop this particular land information system that will work for everybody? Because in the short term, the chief no. Or a short-term return. Long-term return will go to the government of Ghana because taxes valuing the land, because taxes are based on the value of the land.
Of the land, yeah.
But yes, and taxes, rent or land taxes are annual. It's not like you pay it once and that's it, right? Annually. And until maybe a problem now. If we ban recognition say maybe the government maybe recognition. I'm using the word maybe because
right.
I might be wrong, and obviously it is true that I might be wrong because I don't know what is really happening.
We don't know for certain, yeah.
Yes, but there should be an interest to really have all lands in Ghana surveyed, whether someone is say a plot of land or not. The government should have documentation of whatever land it is. Why na any dia? Si chief we dia say so say cry entity ya cry. Ya demarcate say asase kesi we na me finance me example obi fancha me say you cry we Ghana dia mo fancha me say onipa krum ohene onipa krum na asase nie
right.
What you say? And see, until that collaboration between the government and your local chiefs, I think the problem is going to be it's not going to resolve painfully, but it doesn't mean that we cannot do something about it. There's definitely something that we can do, and obviously, I think
right. I think last week, last 2 weeks actually, the vice president made mention. He made mention say he wants to digitize land registration in Ghana because, like, if you check the statistics, courts about 60% of all cases in the court is land issues.
Yeah,
our courts are even overloaded with so many land issues. People have been in court for like 15 years and still haven't come to a conclusion. So that has to stop.
Yeah, and I think that Kwame, we should most of, I mean, not sure, yeah, but we sure so most of the cases those cases are not with Memphis Assasia. I'll go through the Memphis land, Memphis Ghana Lands Commission. Yeah, register most of them. Be Assasia, Memphis or Hinibi, Anebusiani B, Atomobi, and I Memphis oh, your Toma and register and you fetch your register. It's your honor now be who say, oh, Saya Toma will be full for crowd, which you are winning. It's your honor confusion meaning start free. And maybe research no one so very interesting. Say a Ghana also passes here. There are 2 ways, which was very, very, very interesting to me.
Right.
There's the one way is say over to assassin. Okay. I say me find some to assassin. Me person me be a project. Me find some me the person me the see. Me find some shops and I say hotel beer.
Right.
I'm saying me what's a big project in mind. I will always try say me register assassin. And in that regard, most of us happening and you will see said they'll go to the Lands Commission, have it registered, and try to trace maybe assassinate will be for front or right or maybe try a side inquiries. But the problem, as I say, Ghana, you walk I know the meaning say it's going to take a very long time. Our institutions apart that are not in Accra, Memphis Lands Commission, Land Commission in somewhere in another region. Is it really working?
Right.
Are they really working? Because I mean, me twice I see what me find say me example back. Unipa krum me Mr. Mo say you kura mo fanche me. Ma twice I see unipa krum. Bet me twice I na so me ohene no tete asase wo met me akoto me to ya na me si. Say nine na me si de na me fan ko ye business bi a me hia sika free bank ho na obi a ho de a me pa me register.
Right.
And no me hu ya very interesting to me. Say obetimi ato say when you wadun so de be business bi a power register to chief now your site plan or the core assembly for
they'll give you a permit.
They'll give you a permit to build without knowing registered and project needs, also right. A that interaction for us to create that digital transformation on land that we really
I
want.
think some people genuinely don't know. Say so register land.
And they are because I make us say it depends on baby corona nipa no kind of sana no. Most of the people are very interested in registering. Obviously, excuse me to say, people who probably have a little bit knowledge about some of these issues. And secondly, me find say in our big cities and our big towns, what's here. But me find say in class, you know, it's high man. It be no cry. I dream cry. It be cry and click. See a bit. You see it visa. Now, I didn't even say chrono. So now say you chrono. You know, mini call that in cry. Since by the time I realize and that's how problems are creating or that. So it's a problem. Sana. Me find say baby to say me find say Ghana. Me find say excuse me to say. Me find say do area. Maybe some years ago, not a whole maybe a hot kicker.
No.
I'm not interested in building. But for now, you know, say it's one of the areas a very hot kick, right? And see if those things have happened, whereby your motor assassinate, maybe I'm even say a whole that's what man go through the right process of registering. You know, so then that's going to be a problem. What you say because or heneful food to me back. About me, I said, I never know minimum shade. Minimum shade. And then I'm so one registering it makes it difficult for you to have a solid legal backing, especially if the person now turn on or no. So we're free one. I say, Nipano, so what to kwanya? What you say? It's a problem. I'm sure so the vice president probably said this as a big agenda.
Right.
Like I keep on saying, Ghana, we are always trying to be very reactive. You know, we react to problems instead of being proactive and assuming that this problem started from the ground up and build it forward. Because we are being reactive in the sense that until the problems cause Accra and may find us probably some places in Kumasi and Temano. What about other places? May find say, let's say somewhere in the northern regions. Probably.
I know it's simmering. I know it's
yes.
By the time we get there, it's as west as what's in Accra. So this is the time. I think it's a very good time. I think we are about 100 years late though, but it's a very good time to start such a project. Now the problem is Ghana. Like when we want to engage in such a problem, the amount of money that is going to come up it's going to be in the billions. And about my citizens will not be encouraged. Say, Charlie, we should be doing this thing at this point in time. That's why I need your input. Say, what does it take to create a GIS or an LIS? And is it important? Is it from like a town's point of view to say, every little town or county has this little GIS or LIS program that open land or area where now open information about any land or area where you can just go there and check. And I said, like the Ghanaians will always want to cover the whole Ghana at the same time at once.
So and a mission impossible, right? So the mission impossible, they say you cover the whole Ghana. It's never going to be possible,
right?
Because I am for months now, and Cassini be win a bed wow, and you'll be on a bit me and your understanding because there was a joke. Ubika James said the joke was that. Audience are him for me now, but yes, and all mess on bed. Right. So, but the thing is that the issue here has to be, that's why we send delegates to Parliament. Because sometimes it goes beyond because right. More of the land. And very good, we do have an Act 767 having lands commission. But I think it has a narrow scope. The way it has a narrow scope, American say most of the management is only on public lands and not lands that are not public. But because we have invested, the government should have a vested interest in every piece of land, because as long as the land and no one knows, if the developer, taxes have to be paid. So you should have a vested interest in it. For longevity, what you say. And see, I think we should start from small, create it. And see, I think that for now, you decentralize it. You see, we have 16 regions, which means those chunks of land now, so we have demarcated a little bit to smaller pieces, right?
Right.
16 regions, which each region should create its own database. Now, and then the database should be able to talk to each other or connect in a way, and that is very easy. Say the technology is available. It's not like the technology is not available. There's so many the technologies available everywhere. It's not something that has never been done before. There are examples, and being now can say Mecklenburg County,
Polaris 3G.
Yes, it's available. I can say on settings that there are really good Ghanaian experts in this particular field that can do it.
Yeah, you being one.
But maybe we'll get there. But it's also very interesting to me. I was following my research before I came on this particular show, and they said there is actually something like that. I have been seeing it. Okay, right. But my understanding from my sources from the Inside Lands Commission said there's actually a system like that, a land information system like that. We all know we've heard of Enterprise LIS or ELIS. But the problem is that they are doing two parts. GIS is in this particular way used in managing land administration. Should be in three parts. The first part is not the first part. Obviously, is getting the data in and managing the data. That is one, right. The second part has to do with the ability to update the data. But the other part has to be with citizens' ability to engage with the system. Right. We should be able to engage the system, but that part is missing. And even though they have the GIS, they claim they have the GI, the land information system, but that part we are not able to access it. And look at parcels, look at who owns what is the value of the land. We can't access it, but they are saying, I don't know. I wanted to really see it.
So what's the point then?
That is where I am. It boggled my mind. Say, why would someone working in Lands Commission be interested in the piece of land more than someone who is an outsider and I want to buy?
Trying to buy the land.
Who will be more interested, you or me? So why can't the citizens have access to the database that you claim is available? Why can't we have access to it? So it was very interesting, and my understanding they say and you'll be an bit me the Enterprise GIS. You have to have there are different categories of access, which was very strange to me. And I'm like, the citizen can have a viewer access, and you guys working at the commission.
So what you're saying is that so there's no interface for anybody else to see it, but Omar, like the Lands Commission, and only the few people that
exactly.
So what did they do it for? Did they do it for themselves? And
I have. That's the 1 million question that I have been asking for almost 2 days now. I said, okay, what is the point of creating something that can really solve all these court cases? I can't say 60% and whatever, because a transaction, right? Any transaction has a recorded time and a date, right? So if say you're Kwame and it's really true, you record that transaction into your database, put it out there to the public. It is public knowledge.
Public knowledge. So if I'm going to buy a land and I go and I click on the land like I have in Polaris 3G, I click on the land, I know who exactly owns the land.
Exactly.
And that's the person I go to buy the land from. And so I'm sure if this system is available, right, they wouldn't have all the information about the whole country. Maybe.
Yeah, so and I know my understanding is, and I might be wrong. Like I said, I've not interacted with their system, so I don't really know what it is. But my understanding is the system it's such that people can feed me a surveyor. Probably I have a client who is probably interested in not only me surveying his piece of land, but probably helping him with the registration process. I can do the survey. I can submit my survey data or coordinates, the piece of that plot and whatever, and then the Lands Commission will add it into their database before they can go ahead and do the registration. So essentially, before I will be to any Lands Commission to give you a registration or permit or whatever, you need to provide those plans, and then they will add it to their database. But the question is that they make it available to the public. What is there to hide?
Is it a private system? Like, and I say,
it's the Lands Commission don't work for a private entity; they work for Ghanaians.
So it's Land Commission system.
Yeah, they call it an Enterprise Land Information System, ELIS.
Wow, this is the first time I've heard of anything of that sort.
So it's very interesting. And personally, I will not. Like I said, I can't review my sources, but I was able to obtain. They say on my link. I want to verify and see that they actually have the system. So on my link, but unfortunate thing is I was able to register as someone who wants to have access, but I couldn't see anything. It's like, so it's only surveyors. I don't know. I don't even know how this whole thing works and how it qualifies as a land information system. If people can,
if nobody can see the information, yo. So I think this is what Bawumia was referring to as demons and principalities. See, so there's a system paid by the people for the people that the people cannot see.
Yes.
And it contains all the information that you need to solve all the problems we have.
Well, okay, let's use the words. They claim it appears.
Yeah, right. It
appears to have some of this information that we need. But obviously, like you said, it will not contain all the lands.
No.
Because I think what it might contain or more, I may find say willingly go to the commission to get their land registered, and then government acquired lands information might be in there, and so maybe that's the reason why they don't see it as important to put that information out there for others. I don't know, but it's not a very logical reasoning. For me personally, I've never seen any LIS that is not open to the public.
It's not an LIS then.
It doesn't make sense. And I think that even the two examples now made them when they look at how contentious our election was, but because for some of us we all watched TV, we saw the map, we saw
what was going on.
Yes, we saw if this party won, we saw the color change. This party won this constituency. So at the end of the day, we can see how many seats have been won by.
Right. So
it's transparent.
Just keep it transparent. That's the word. That's the magic word. Wow. So let's narrow it down quickly.
Okay.
So Claudio, you have, let's say you have your little GIS company. Okay. Now I'm the DCE of Sunyani, and I approach you and say, okay, Claudio, I'm having a lot of problems in my district, land issues. I want you to put together a system so that all the land that have been surveyed will be in this system with their owners and everything, so that if somebody wants to buy a land, if there's any transaction between the land, they can just go on this system and find who owns what and the value of the land. How are you going to go about this? And how much is, like, just ballpark? I know you can't run the numbers right now, but is it going to cost me $100 million?
So like I said, maybe they are looking at the bigger picture. So maybe that's the reason why they push that particular figure. But from my understanding, in terms of creating an LIS or a land information system, obviously we will need parcel information, right? So if the land has been surveyed, if the land has not been surveyed, we'll need surveyors to be on the field to survey it, because every land shares border with another land, right? Every land shares another border with another land, so we need to survey it. So if there has to be pillars, has to be erected, it has to be erected. We need to put survey instrument, measure it, find the size of it. Information, it's easy to actually transfer this particular information into a GIS system, because GIS is built for such information. It's built to accommodate geographic information, and to assess information via the GIS easy and straightforward. Obviously there has to be some form of, probably there might be ones that we don't actually need to survey, right? There are ones that have already been surveyed. We have records, we have paper records. We need to digitize them. Or what I mean by digitize is see a bit tracy corners, meaning they are information in that. And the only thing that is the survey part. The second part that we need is the deed information. Who owns the land? And that is where I think the challenge and the big problem in terms of our country solved. And that's why I said we need to start small. We need to rather be proactive, rather than going back to what has ever happened. Let's build a system that starts collecting the information now.
From now, yeah. Okay.
Yes, and instead of say a call archives, why not know we are it's just a long story, right? So let's just be proactive and just move forward now. Okay, so from now the law is that whoever has a piece of land has to go through this process, has his land registered. It should be a law. I know it's a law, but like I said, there are two systems of buying land in Ghana, so it's a little bit difficult. So just back to your question. So after digitize, the information that I don't have, and Mama surveyors, I will fuse all of them into the IT system, and as I say, the GIS system. Now, include ownership information. Obviously, there has to be value. So, and obviously, what other information can we gather about land that we can include? Obviously, is the land, let's say, a residential area? Is it like a farmland? What can we use the land for? So the land use information, where can we get the land use information? From the town and country planning. So so we need to be able to get this information like from these departments, fuse them all together. Okay. Obviously, and I'm saying, as I say, it's easy for us to create a unique ID, but I know the IT the doesn't need to know about that. That one can be done at the back end. And then we link all this information together. So we have information about who owns the land, what the land can be used for. Say if the land has been maybe bought, if we want to document maybe a transactions that has occurred on that piece of land, we can add all those information.
Obviously, I mean, so if you have that system there and land is changing hands, it has to be updated. So Claudia there. Claudio say this, because when you go to Polaris, how much I even sold the land to you is there. So the government knows exactly how much I owe him in taxes.
Yes, exactly. That is why I'm saying the government should have a vested interest, whether it's for the chief or not. You are not taking the land from the chief, but as soon as there is a transaction, the government should have a vested interest, because this.
So that's why government wants to pay for this. Because of it.
They have to, because it is for long-term sake, it is a huge $1 billion kind of revenue that the government can have every year, because the land taxes is every year. Maybe we can do a system where we can do it not every year. That is fine. Maybe based on our economy and our people, we can decide, say, maybe every 3 years. That is fine. But people have to pay taxes on it. Okay, someone cannot just be operating and just be making profits from the land and not paying anything, because if there's any resource like a road that has to connect to that place, it's the government that is doing. Who do you think is going to pay for it? It's not only loans that can pay for those kind of infrastructure.
Right.
Taxes. And so I think, say, I personally, even though say I don't really know the full story of what the vice president has started, but I think there is an end goal, and the end goal is to make sure that
actually make money.
It's actually to make sure everybody pay taxes. So it's recommendable, and I think it's a step in the right direction. But I think the idea of having this big it's too much. Why can't we just start small?
It's can like a small city like Sunyani, can they afford their own GIS system?
Of course, it's not difficult. And besides, I can tell you for certain, say most people who probably are in the survey department probably might have experience with what GIS actually is or use it, because obviously they have to use software. So if they have to use the software, what kind of software is that? If the software is not equipped to be able to integrate into the GIS system, get them that software to be able to do that. But yes, yeah, and it's easy for them to do. It's not rocket science. It's something that's very easy for them to do, and it even makes it easier to plan.
Exactly. I mean, all the information is there. And if we got pandemic by, we can know the hotspots, what is causing it, all that can be traced using a GIS. Now, I think the reason why I want to discuss this topic is for entrepreneurs trying to go back to Ghana and start their own businesses. Ghana business, if you're starting a farm, manufacturing, anything you want to do in Ghana, you're going to use a piece of land.
Yeah.
And most investors, what they are big fan of is trying to get a piece of land in Ghana, even for residential. Or paying a little lot to build his house is even an issue. It's if you have such a system there, it makes it very transparent.
Yeah, because obviously the person, excuse me to say, if the person has access to internet here, which everybody does, probably outside, probably around the US, or probably in Ghana too. If you have access to internet, you can just search for the piece of land that you are interested in. Say, I'm interested in this particular piece of land. I can sit down in my house, search for it, and just walk to that place. I know the owner. Probably the owner might actually have a telephone number. And just speak to the person. Hey, say, I want to buy a piece of land. You guys agree on the price that you want to pay. Before the transaction is done, you go to the deeds, whatever the deeds property or deeds wherever registry, and get
your research.
Yes. And do everything. So it's I think one thing obviously we all know is that there is not transparency in the way we kind of go about handling public assets. And I think that's where the big challenge is. So a lot of people skip that part because transparent to be but if it is transparent, say taxes also a percentage, right? Taxes is a percentage. So before I go, I know the percentage of tax that I'm supposed to pay. So third person to help me with any registry. I already know my stuff. I can just work.
And the case of Ofala, I don't know whether you've heard about this. Somebody has bought a land, went to land commission, registered the land, everything is fine. Until somebody lays a claim to the land. That has nothing. And then we're going to lands commission to go and verify who actually owns the land. And now Ofala.
Yeah, usually those I know that it will end in tears because usually, like I said, the lands commission, because the way it was set up it was not set up to probably, apart from the public lands that they actually have autonomous kind of power to manage. They don't go directly to the chiefs. I know they work with the chiefs trying to convince them to maybe if they demarcate their lands to have it registered. And so most of the times there are some good chiefs, and I can say that for certain. Say there are some people that are doing really marvelous. Our local leaders, some of them are doing really marvelous. Where if they want to demarcate an area for residential, they probably have it demarcated. They have actually survey plans and stuff. Some of them actually do register them if they want, but it's like 1 in 1,000. So it's very difficult for you to get that kind of piece of land that and find a independent register with the Lands Commission, and so say we'll try a transaction, so you record it and the land is yours. It's a difficult thing, and I think so the transparency all has to do with it's part of the problem. And I think there was some time where there was a lot of conversation about the Right to Information Act and whatever. I don't even know. I don't know whether
I think it passed.
So why can't we have information? Because this is public interest. So
yeah, I mean, I'm still thinking about the GIS system, the ELI. Is it ELIS?
Yeah, ELIS.
Yeah, that we. I mean, if it wasn't for today, I've never heard of anything like that.
So that's what they claim. Like I said, I don't. But one thing I can also say from my sources, they say that particular system only have information for Accra, Koforidua, and Kumasi. So those are the only 3 places I was able to find they have information. Probably I might be wrong, but maybe I could be asking. But it's not like it's a nationwide thing. They only have it for only a few places, but which is a good thing, because if you want to start everything, you have to start from a prototype, right? So
you have to start from a pilot.
Yeah. So if Mefana says Accra, and I say Koforidua, and I say the place where they have the ELS being covered at. It's a pilot. How effective it is. Obviously, I can see for Accra, maybe it is not. I don't know, but maybe it is because Accra, I'm sure most of the court cases are in Accra. So,
well, if you have such a thing, I think for you to know whether it works or it doesn't work, is to put it out there for people to query it. And if there's no interface for any other person to use it by yourself,
that's the $1 million question.
Yeah, it makes no sense. It makes no sense.
It doesn't.
What you're saying is a small town can actually approach a GIS specialist and say, build us a GIS, as long as they're willing to give information to the person to build it.
Yeah, obviously it's easy, and it's obviously it's a lot of work. There's cost involved because obviously we'll build this system now. You have to have people stand by to update the system,
right?
To manage the system.
There's all database administrators, analysts,
administrators. But thankfully we have a lot of graduates in the country that are actually even
I think everybody that walks out from the School of Engineering in KNUST is basically a database administrator.
Yeah,
by the time you finish the 4 years.
So I am trying to really find the link now in Panel Demand and try to give it to you for you to actually check it out yourself. It's a very interesting situation.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. I didn't know that, honestly. I'm still surprised that we have to.
So that's the most. And it will boggle your mind, because probably if you have such a system, it should be actually call homepage of, let's say, the Lands Commission. It should be something, the first thing you
see. Yeah,
but it's not. It's not. So it's I don't know what the policy.
Well, see, what is not going to surprise me is that, and I'm just conjecturing, and it has nothing to do with what you said. But what I'm feeling is that maybe they are selling information, and you have to pay to get to get the information you need. So they're not going to put it out there, although it was funded by public money. They're not going to put it out there for anybody.
But the issue is the person paying taxes forever, and that little money you will get one time, which is more important. Which one will give you more money?
So I'm sure it's not government sanctioned that they keep it secret. It's just some few people like say, okay, you know
Well,
what?
I mean, I mean, we all know, say, I think that we all know, say, that's the problem that we have. I don't know about the Lands Commission, but you know, so most of these institutions, a new government comes and appoints their own board, people, chairman. So you can actually, in essence, say it's a government kind of machinery. Machinery.
But what I was saying is that I don't think the government has sanctioned that. Don't let anybody see this information. That's my part. Because if you've been paid by public money, it should be out there for everybody to use it. And that's the aim for every GIS or LIS system. Is for the information to be out there for everybody to be able to access it.
Yeah, because people want to share, you want to have a conversation about it. And the good thing with having it will kind of a bit flatten how even prices for land goes for a lot of people. Because if I know this particular piece of land is going for 1,000 and you are adjacent to that particular land, you are selling yours for 5,000. Obviously, you have to come down, else I'm going to buy it from
another person. Yeah.
So it's strange, but
see. It makes life easier for the youth, because if you want to start a business, Accra or Ghana, you don't, at the ballpark, you don't know how much is involved.
Yes.
Because first of all, you don't know how much the land is going to, even whether you're going to get land or not. And if we can get all this done and make all this part of trying to build your own business easier for people, I think that would be very nice. But at the moment, it turns out we already have a system even going, and people are trying to hide it.
Yeah,
so. What would you suggest? Would you suggest, say, like the local government would just try and build their own LIS system, and I say
yeah, obviously, like we and I can't say trying to build this national, it's not going to work.
Right.
So it definitely has to start from the local government. And who is better capable of collecting those taxes, of land taxes? The local government that really has the manpower, because they are there. Most of them can actually even have teams walk to places for the taxes, right? And it's so it has to start from the local government. And it's not something that cannot be done. It's something that that's the system in almost every other part of the country, every other part of the world. I don't know about other places, but I know for most places in the Europe might actually be using such a system too.
Oh yeah, I mean way back.
Way back. So
way back. We are like 100 years late to this this system. And I mean, we have professionals all over Ghana, within and without, that are well versed. I mean, e.g. yourself, that are well versed in this kind of knowledge, and I don't know. Do people approach you about this, or and answer?
Well, so I mean, we always try to have a healthy conversation about how we can improve it. Such a system. Obviously, we know whether they are leaders or whatever, they are not going to be there forever. There will come where some of us will have to step into their shoes.
Right.
Obviously, letting people know, say, yes, this can be done, even if the current leadership are not doing it. It's something that can be done, and it needs to be done, because it will stop us from borrowing so much from other places, because taxes. Even if it's one Ghana cedis, imagine collecting one Ghana cedis from every land in the country. Okay, so based on the size of the land, you pay more. Okay, and the value of the land, you pay more. It's going to fetch, and it's annual. What kind of income country generates?
And I mean, if you had a very good GIS system, this whole thing about Galamsey and you're not supposed to do it here, you're supposed to do it here, can be solved easily.
Yeah.
Because if I'm a company and I'm trying to buy a piece of land from a chief, or I'm trying to get a piece of land from a chief to go and work, do my little mining, and I go on a GIS and click on that piece of land and find out that it's a forest reserve, obviously I'm not going to buy it.
Yeah. So my Sunday idea or text me. I check it out and let me know what you think, because this is what the ELIS is, and I cannot access. So it's strange how they call it a land information system
when you cannot get any information.
When people cannot engage with the information, because the essence of putting the information out there is not for the person who created it, but it's for the public. So why will you create an enterprise LIS or whatever, and people cannot engage with it, share, people cannot query, people cannot search for their own information, because people are smart. We are all smart. We can make decisions for ourselves. We don't need a government employee to make that decision for us.
No. Where did you send on WhatsApp?
No. I sent it.
To my email.
No. The
regular text.
Okay, let me try a regular text then.
No, you send it to my WhatsApp. It's easier. I can get access on my computer.
Okay.
Daniel.
My home family.
Oh, Kafra. As does it make financial sense? You are the financial guy.
I came in the later part. I don't know what the dimension that we are discussing as far as.
This is a friend of mine. His name is Claudio, and he's an expert in GIS, Geographical Information System.
Oh, nice.
And we were discussing, we were piggybacking from what Baumia said last 2 weeks about trying to digitize the whole land registration system. And so I wanted an expert to kind of explain to us what that means. And, it turns out that if we can digitize our land system and have all the information for every parcel in Ghana, it's going to make it easier for government to collect its taxes, its property taxes from everybody who owns something, and also makes it easier for land transaction from person to person. And Claudio just made us aware that from his research, there's even a system like that already in place that has no interface for the populace.
I think GIS here is a very good.
I think it's internet. Okay, I've seen it. Select portal.
Yeah, you can create your account, but you cannot see a geographic interface, and that's why.
And it's legit. Like I tried to go there, said the connection for this site is not so secure. Okay. What does that mean? Oh.
Yeah, that's why I said you require access, and they only few people in the commission or people in the commission have those assets. So this is if we were supposed to have the access, this is probably the link that we probably will be using, or probably they might generate a new link. But this is so this was what I would say my friend was trying to give me as evidence that they do have that system already in place.
Right.
And I was like, okay, well, I'm not able to access it. So what is the point about having a whole portal for managing lands in the country, and people cannot have access? Like the public who are supposed to consume the information don't have access to the information, because we don't need access to edit whatever has been put over there.
No, it's read only.
And query. That's it.
Wow.
So it maybe it's something that we need to really follow up and see what is really happening. Why the decision not to have to make sure people can actually access that the ELIS?
I think that's what I'm going to do. I don't want to be finding excuses for them, and it depends on how long they've had this. Maybe it's just a pilot, and maybe they think they are not ready to, let it go live, and so.
Yeah, it's possible. Like I said, it's only in Accra, Koforidua, and probably Kumasi, I think.
Yeah, because Charlie, revenue collection in Ghana is very difficult because we don't have a proper address system. So if you had this, that's like 80% of the problem solved.
Oh, I think it's only Accra, Tema, and Koforidua.
Okay, Accra, Tema, and Koforidua. Yeah, I can't even go to the website.
Like I said, you need to have access. So once we don't have access, that's the reason why we can't actually even, because I don't know, it's strange. It's kind of a strange system. It's
yeah, obviously have to find out more. You obviously have to find out more. Oh, I think Daniel was trying to get in, maybe something wrong with his internet or something like that. He's having difficulties. But
I'm using my phone, but I'm having challenges, so that is fine. I just have to listen to you guys. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, but I think the GIS platform is that that's what they are trying to put together. I don't think it's the same, right? Because with the GIS platform, you need, if I'm mistaken, the GIS advice, you need the APIs to access, right? Like the what do you call it? The records of whatever. But this one that I'm told they're building, it's more like, for me, the way I understand, like a database.
Yeah,
I verify who owns what and where. But like,
yeah, I think I agree with So I think what they have created is something to help them with their work, but not a GIS that can actually provide information for people to query, to search, and people to consume information. So I think probably maybe the definition, or probably at some stage, like Kwame, you said, maybe at some point they will get there. But if this is what they are calling the ELIS, then I'm sorry,
it's not. Yeah,
it's way below what is an LIS is supposed to be.
Right. Yeah. Well, so where do we go from here? So how do we start the conversation? Because obviously Bawumia has come out and said, you know what, this is what I need to do to solve the problem. So obviously know what the problem is. And they've even gone further to figure out that if we can digitize all our registration system. I'm hoping when he thought about digitizing registration system, he's not just thinking about paying money and getting receipts digitally. Because normally when government says, I'm going to digitize something like that, he's just thinking about the money, not the information as to how to pay money online and stuff like that, so that they can have all the money the government can have a good look at all the money that has been paid to them. But this is what you have to do at the background to make sure that every information that you need on every piece of land is available to everybody. And then you can take your money from there. So, like, where do we start from? How should we approach this?
Yeah, and I think we should start small.
Mm-hmm.
We should start small. First of all, we should let if it's the regional offices or if it's the district offices for, let's say, the Lands Commission or the Civil Department, wherever it is, let's start small, and then we scale it up. Okay, we start small and we scale it up, and then at some point we integrate every other database together, and even it will make it easier for us to manage the system, right? Because I think it's high time, and we all know it. I think everybody knows it in Ghana too, that we should stop kind of putting a heavy burden. Everything has to be in Accra, every transaction, every important stuff has to be in Accra. It's something that is very strange. I don't really understand why, because for example, you live in North Carolina right now, and you live in Charlotte. But Charlotte is not the capital of North Carolina, right?
No, it's not.
It's not. But what has done is that Charlotte has developed at the same time the capital has developed.
Even more than the capital, yeah.
Yes. And so, but then people can actually also look at the capital and say, hey, it's okay to also live here, right? So we need to decentralize some of these things. So why should the Living the Lands Commission also be based in Accra? You know, why can't it be based in the central parts of the country, like somewhere else? If even if it's the headquarters is based in Accra, most of the management have done of these databases don't have to be in Accra. You know, I really don't know, and it's.
I mean, Land Commission has an office in almost every city.
Yeah, so yeah, it's strange. So why can't there be a directive to every region to start creating this system locally within their region, and at some point we are going to fuse it together. I don't know if that is the thinking. If that is so, like we were saying, most of these arguments that we are making here might just be arguments or assumptions, but probably it is in the pipeline and they are doing it. But I don't know. I have no idea. And I have no idea what they're doing, and that is the part that is really strange, because if you have this big project, okay, of this 100 million, whatever, if you go to the commission, probably you should probably check it out yourself. If you go to the commission, you should have a lot of information, news information. You should have how you're going to go about it. People can query, where people can make suggestions. Obviously, they do have that, but do they take it into consideration? I don't know. Like, it's I don't know what's happening.
Like, the answer to almost all the questions about Ghana is Ghana for you.
It's not for anybody. It's not for them too.
Yeah,
they will have to leave the seat for someone else.
Exactly. But like this guy is saying, lifetime legacy. He says they have a system where you pay them, they can give you every information you need, but you have to pay 500 Ghana cedis per search.
Why do I need you to search something for me? What I can search for it myself.
So this is what I was.
What
I was saying. Like, this is why they have a system, and they intentionally have omitted an interface to the public, because they want you to come to them for them to do the search for you, so that they can charge you
backwards. And it's not productive, because why? Because what that is going to do is that if everybody in the country is taking, like, let's say, a taxi to the Lands Commission, obviously every day there'll be huge traffic in that particular road, right? So the road leading to the Lands Commission, because everybody is trying to go to that particular place. Everybody is trying to do the search, and so the system is not going to work. Once we have everybody probably have access to internet at their home or on their phone, people can search for it. If they are interested in the land, they buy it. If they are not even interested in the land, they want information, they can still see it. Why should I pay someone to search for it for me? I can do the search myself.
And we've already paid for it. It's not like this thing is built with our taxpayers' money. But, you know, like you said, is the big picture that if we can get a system down and operating, government is even going to make more money.
A lot of money. Because I wouldn't even say government. The whole Ghana is going to make a lot of money.
Exactly. When I say government, I'm talking about like local governments.
Yes.
Now they have a lot of money to repair their roofs. They have a lot of money to pick all your trash and take care of them and all of that.
Yeah, and Kwame, maybe you haven't even mentioned it, and we haven't even mentioned it here. These taxes that are collected from the lands are what are used to finance their public schools. The taxes on land. So the taxes that you pay on your land is what is being used to finance the middle school, the high schools, and so public high schools here, you go for free. It is not like a budget where let's say the government have to go and borrow money to subsidize. No, the taxes on the lands pay for the schools.
Oh yeah, obviously.
So why can't we do that?
That's the part. Now it all makes sense to me now. If what Lifetime said is true, it all makes sense to me now, because if you're building a GIS, the whole understanding about GIS to make information public to other people to access, make it very easy for people to access, researchers, everybody. You don't have to pay a dime, because we're even paying for it. We're paying for the system. But it wouldn't even surprise me that even the government sanctioned it. So, all right, people have to pay for this because I need my money back. And they've forgotten that the bigger picture is that if they can get this down and working and everybody has access, they will make more money at the bigger picture than trying to take 500 Ghana cedis, which people are not going to do anyway. They're just going to go to the chief and ignore all that 500.
That's why I said there are two systems in buying lands. Okay, so for probably like me and you and probably others, we might probably want to do the right thing and go to the commission. Okay, and I'm telling you, probably you are just able to search, but probably after the search, you need something else, right? You need to know the value of the land that you're buying. Okay, probably you have to pay for another money for them to give you that value. Okay, so it's all very interesting. Have an opaque system. Why can't it be transparent for everybody to see? Why do I need someone sitting in the office to search for a land that I am interested in buying for me? Why can't I search for it myself? I am not blind. I have phone. I have internet. I can search for it.
Even before GIS, over here, you can walk to any local county court and ask for the register of deeds, and there's a whole library with archives everywhere. Every land you want, you can get information and just read it for free and just walk out. Take pictures of it if you want. They even have scanners. I think you might have to pay for the scanner though. They can scan it and you print it, and then you take it home. But Ghana GIS, any front end.
Kwame. Thank you. I was able to come on with my computer now.
All right, you're welcome.
Kwame, I'm a little bit lost. Maybe both of you can educate me or direct me in what was the goal, the purpose of what they seek to do. Maybe we are giving them a purpose or a goal that wasn't what they intended to do. And in that sense, that would be a different topic altogether. The way I understand it is that there's the whole land thing in Ghana is manual, right? When you go, you have to go search through records. That alone is inefficiency, right? Right there.
Right.
Yeah.
It delays the length of time you have to process, and more, I would say the end-to-end piece. How do you know how many people own this land? If you have some digital record of it and there's some unique identifier to the land, then that unique identifier is easy. It's not shared by anybody, right? Just like you build databases, the way you do it. Everybody has a unique identifier, and then you can identify them by that unique identifier. And I don't know, for those that deal with lands manually, when you go, I think there's we call it service plot, right? A service plot has a number, right? And that number is unique. It gives you the dimension of the land, and then the ownership of it, so that people are not selling lands to 2 or 3 different people on the land side because of these gaps that exist in the previous system. So my understanding is that bringing all this online digitally makes it easy to reconcile such differences and see such gaps and make sure that nobody is duping anybody for selling land to them too. Maybe after that, then another need will come that will require us to move it a little bit higher, right? Now, I'm not sure. I'm trying to understand. Can you just start from nowhere and just say I'm pushing everything to a GIS level to be able to do all these fancy things that the GIS people are able to do? And without that, can the GIS people still use the technology here to be able to still do the same stuff that they do here in Ghana, even with current technology, if Ghana had not even established this process that is taking place? So those are, I think, the few things that I need to get clarification on.
Okay, so I want to go with the first one. So your first one, you are right. We everybody doesn't want this manual process. I think one of your viewers just even said that he had to wait 2 months to get a search completed, which we know, like you said, you pointed out, it's not efficient. It's not. And the point that we are saying is that land is a geographic entity, right? We can point to exactly where it is, and the way other countries or everybody has done or managed land is to use GIS, which is a geographic information system, because it's something that is on a piece of land. It's on the earth. What additional information can be added? So apart from knowing where the land is, we can add all these information to it. Obviously, that is a database that we have to build, but GIS is not a GIS without a database. So GIS has a database component to it. And the argument that we made, or the argument that I kind of drew Kwame's attention, was that they already have a system where the officials of the Lands Commission can use to search. They can use to update their records, and my understanding from talking to people who actually work there is that they call that system an ELS, Enterprise Land Information System, and it has a GIS component. And then so then I told the person that, hey, if that is the case, can you share that particular link? Because I'm interested in the piece of land, not necessarily to buy, but I want to search for it. If it's a GIS, you should be able to share, okay? Even if it's not a GIS, share what you have. So after sharing with me, I realized that it's like if you need to have access. And so that's the argument that I kind of started this whole conversation, that, okay, so what is the point about building a land information system? Okay, it's an information system. Who needs the information? Is it the people working on building it, or the people who use it to perform some action? Let's say to buy the land, to search for who owns it. So it's the public that needs that information. And so make, if truly you have such a GIS system, make it available to the public. And then we came to the understanding that it's not available. It's not even coming to understanding. The link that I was provided couldn't get me to that far, because you need to provide access, and I don't have access. And that is why we are trying to compare what we have over here. What we have over here, or what we have in other places, is that a GIS for land administration is a public information. It should be available for the public, because I don't need you to make decisions for me on what I'm supposed to search for. Okay, I can sit at the comfort of my room. In essence, we actually even don't need that manpower to be doing that search. That is money that could have been invested somewhere else, and so it fails to meet the criteria of a GIS, if that is what they want to call it as a GIS. It's not. Okay.
So this is an example of what Claudia is talking about. This is the GIS system for the whole McClement County in Charlotte. Any land that I want, you just zoom into the piece of land, the parcel, you click on it, and every information that they have on the land, you're going to get it. So I just click on one and you see all the information, the address, the owners of the land, and even some of them go as far as to whether it's going to be affected by flood, whatever. How much the person who owns it bought it, how many times it's been on the market. All those information are there. And that's how a GIS system works. There's the back end of collecting or getting surveyors to collect all the data, the IT people building the system and putting the data in the system. And the final end is creating an interface for people to interact with the system. And this is all being paid by government money. So if we pay for this system and you get the system and you say, okay, it's going to end at where just us in the office can see it, nobody else can see it. If you want to see it, pay us 500 Ghana cedis so that we can do a search for you. It defeats the purpose of a GIS. It's not a GIS if it doesn't have the third phase.
Yeah, because you are not able to engage with it. You are not able to query it.
Exactly.
And aside that, it makes it's like an opaque system, because then let's say two people are fighting over a piece of land. If they really have a database, probably the issue is that the database is not a trusted one. Okay, because if they have a database that they can trust, then I'm sure putting it out there wouldn't be a difficult thing for them, because it's just a push of a button, right? So I think probably that is also part of the reason why it's not out there. But obviously, I'm not here to make excuses for them, because I haven't actually even interacted with what they have.
I think this is me personally. I feel like these are some of the things we do in Ghana. It is an artificial hurdle that has been put in there to just allow corruption. Because if Kwame and Claudio is having a problem of a piece of land and want to know who bought it first or who owns it and everything, and only Daniel on his computer can tell us who did, if we pay him 500 Ghana cedis. Although Claudio and I paid for the system. I think you've muted yourself, Daniel. I can hear you.
Yeah, I'm struggling here.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, so yes, Kwame, the other thing is that when you put the information public, like you said, out there, it's not, that's what sometimes I think our people don't get. It allows a lot of researchers to be able to do their own things, and add value to what is going on.
Exactly.
And I think sometimes it's very hard for, Kwame, I don't know, maybe it's because, sometimes I say it's because maybe we are traveled. Let me use that word, traveled. So we can see the end game of some things, right? Sometimes our people, it's hard for them to see through these things, like the public benefit, the huge potential, benefit that will come out of this thing if people are able to, because knowledge is not sitting in one person's brain.
Yes.
People think differently about different things. They have different dimensions. They have different ways of looking at stuff, and they can dissect stuff differently, right? So putting things like this out there creates a lot of innovation in the system. People will find ways to do research, and you'll be amazed at the kind of results that they'll produce to you. That can even be helpful to you, the government. It's not something that you have to put your money in there and find it. I mean, a dedicated researcher to go in there and be doing it, because people would have been using it for their own school projects. They'll be using it for different things, and they'll have different, research on different, they might not even be doing the whole Ghana. Maybe they might just be doing some small land in the Volta region. And you can have that detail of what information published out there, that it can be a baseline for you whenever you are going into those areas. So sometimes that concept, I think people tend to think that keeping information to yourself, yes, it serves that personal interest in the short run, but it doesn't serve what I call the welfare function of society. It doesn't serve the bigger interest, which I think that is where leadership comes in, to break those barriers, right? You break them because you can see beyond that. The person who is in that small little office, he is just interested in what he's going to get in that sense, right?
Yeah, and I probably would disagree with the fact that you're trying to make an excuse for them, because most of the people who are actually heading these commissions or whatever have actually traveled before. Most of them are highly learned. Even if they haven't, I got exposed to GIS at Tech, not the US. So I already knew about this functionality, what GIS can do. I actually developed a GIS system whereby in Subin Submetro for my thesis, whereby essentially I went to the dumping site in Subin Submetro. And I tried to time the frequency at which waste collection was done in those areas, just trying to make sure those bins don't overflow. And with GIS and with obviously with some algorithms in GIS, you should be able to determine how often let's say the bin overflows, right? And then you'll be able to tell the drivers to get to this place. Maybe if they are picking it 3 times every week, or maybe because it overflows, they will have to go an extra one, right? You can make those kind of useful decisions. And so I really don't want to make an excuse that probably because you have to travel outside. We all got exposed to GIS in Ghana.
Yeah, I did. I got exposed. I mean, my actual project in university was a GIS project.
Yeah,
so
it's
for tourists trying to move around. Kumasi.
So I don't think I think the problem has to do with our inability to accept change.
Mhm.
And the reason why I am making this particular comment has to do with if I am the head of Lands Commission and I come and I see that people doing this search, it's just a waste of money. What I have to really do, if I really want efficiency, is to let them go and push the system in.
Mhm.
But the thing is that I don't know, you are also sacking some people from work, but then you're also creating new jobs. And it's high time we get the idea that some jobs, in order for us to embrace technology, we have to lose some jobs. Some jobs have to go. They will not be in the 21st century Ghana that we want to build. And so I think the difficulty is recognizing that some jobs are irrelevant and they need to go, right?
Yeah. To add to your point, I think there are some individuals and some kind of systems that are existing. Systems, when I mean system, I just mean a group of people, a gang of people that are artificially putting bottlenecks in the system to make sure that they have their own private revenue coming from that, because it makes no sense, like you said, for me that needs the land to contact you to do the search for me for a pay that you get every month anyway.
Yeah,
by the government. I pay it directly anyway, and now you want me to pay extra so that you can do that exercise for me, whilst you can put it online and everybody can do it.
Yeah. So Dan, probably maybe you got cut off when I was trying to make the point. But the point I was trying to make was that most of these people, maybe you made the arguments that it's possible that for us we have been exposed or we've traveled a little bit, so that's the reason why we are making this particular case. But we are making the case that we beg to differ. That's not the case, because I got exposed and Kwame also got exposed to GIS in tech. Okay, in tech. And I'm even going to give an example, and I think people can check it out. ECG, it's currently embarking on a huge project to digitize every asset. So every meter, every pole in the country, they are using GIS to collect that data. And what they want to do afterwards is that they want to make sure they are able to do something we call segmentation, where they will be able to use machine learning algorithms to predict the people that are most likely to default on paying, let's say, their electric bills. Okay, so those areas can be targeted for, let's say, disconnection and all this stuff. And that is a huge endeavor. But once they're able to solve that, if people are not paying, you shouldn't be enjoying electricity.
So you're right. That is the same motivation that is the same concept that is driving the land, what the land ministry is trying to do as well, because ECG is way ahead in that process.
Yeah.
And they are very much, it looks like they are very much successful with the pilot that they have done with it, and they've seen the benefits. And it's the same idea that the land ministry is trying to, tap into. So Kwame, I believe that the GIS component, once they've started from where they have started, that is inevitable. Because you can't tell me you're building just the database. They will see beyond that it's not just the database. There's much more that needs to happen on top of that. And so I think that will come inevitably. Just that at this point, I think that it will be slow at coming. But in the end, I see that coming, because it's like it will just make a natural business sense to go that way. You can get into the middle and then stuck, because you wouldn't have realized all the benefits from what you've built, right?
Yeah,
if you go that full haul, that is where you get all the benefits. So Kwame, it doesn't matter whoever is there that wants to frustrate it. The business sense will come naturally to that organization, and it will be inevitable. It will eventually go that direction. So at least I like the fact that they've thought about it and they're taking that baby step. And then once they see the little benefit with just even the base that they're putting together, that will motivate them to go for, the bigger benefit. And that is usually how projects start, right? Sometimes it's difficult to convince management about something, But once you're able to demonstrate some prototype to them and they begin to see the benefit, they themselves will start driving for the bigger stuff. That, hey, let's push it. And then sometimes they forget that it might not even be applicable to all situations. They might want you to apply it to some other situation that probably is not a good fit
It's
for.
not going to work. Yeah.
Right. So that is how naturally you build up to people's mind and then get stuff going.
Yeah,
so
I understand that. It's going to get
the process. Yeah,
it's going to get to a point that the dam is going to overflow. I understand that.
Yeah.
But why waste time now?
The little that you've done, if you've done pilots of Accra, of Tema, of Koforidua, put it out there. Put it out there. Let people query it. Let experts have opinions. Let people give suggestions. Okay. So when you go to their page, they have an actual link for suggestions and complaints.
Mm-hmm.
If they have a system out there and probably an expert in doing a similar stuff, look at it, because this is for the public good. So the public probably might be interested. Some people might be interested, not necessarily for monetary purposes, but to make sure it actually works. Put it out there. Let people query it. Okay.
I don't think they are done. Are they done?
Well, so
I haven't heard that announcement. That final that says that we are done. This thing is out there.
It cannot be done. It cannot be done with GIS.
It cannot be done. You cannot survey the whole country.
You cannot be
4 years.
You cannot be done with GIS.
No, not the GIS component. Not the GIS component. GIS, like you said, you cannot be done because every day people will be changing line. You have to be updating information.
Yeah.
So that process will live, perpetually as far as we continue to live. But I'm talking about that base, the database, that first process that they are trying. Are they done? I'm not had information that process is finished. Because they are now more like inputting the data. You get what I'm trying to say? What they have the records for.
Yeah, it is possible that you might be correct, but it's possible that we might also be correct. So the inability to really know the truth is why we are saying that the little that has been done should be out there. Even if it's a small database, probably, let's say in a small area in Accra, put it out there. Some people might be interested, put it out there. So then people see the benefits of the little that you've done and tell you, hey, this is really good. Expand it to the whole country. People will give you the thumbs up. Put it out there, because the database will never be fully completed. How is it going to be fully completed within 4 years or within 3 years? It's not.
I mean, it's a perpetual thing. It's good.
No. Kwame, they get the perpetual piece. I get that part. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about now they have the manual, records.
Mm-hmm.
Inputting that manual, all that manual record that they have now into the system is what I'm talking about.
And that's what Claudio said at the beginning of the program, that we start from now and move forward. And then whilst we're moving forward, every new registration that comes in, we can go back to the archive and start adding information as we go. If you go to some of these new GIS systems of counties in the US, some of them, you click and the information you get is just where the land is and the name of the owner, but not a lot of data. You might have to go to court to get all those data.
I see. So Claudia, you're saying that they should take they should be strategic about it. And we know the lands issue are Accra and Kumasi, Takoradi. Let's start with those areas and then put it out there. And then as we go, those other places that land is not too much of.
Exactly.
We can be adding them like.
Yeah, so exactly. So I beg to differ. It's possible. It's possible that what the arguments that you made, and I also agree with you that it's probably it might be due to the fact that probably the database is not fully functional. So that's the reason why they're not putting it out there. But you and I don't know, and I probably want to use our vice president's statement.
We're not there.
We don't know. So put the little that you have, because my understanding is that they do have this particular information system for Tema, for Accra, and for Koforidua. So the little that you have, and even if you don't even have it for the individual lands, what about the government lands, the state lands? Put it out there. Put it out there.
Yeah, maybe that could also have in the usually what we call user feedback, early user feedback.
Exactly.
That kind of stuff, yeah.
So this is their website. And I mean, for what they're showing, you can see a gentleman trying to buy information from a lady, and that's their whole. that's their whole thing. All right, you pay us all this money to build this system, and after that, come to us for your information. It just makes no sense. But I mean, I think we are almost. Today I was going to close at 9:30. We are just about 8 minutes past it. And so we might have to finish this discussion another day. I'm trying to find one of the regional surveyors in Ghana to just take us through how to buy a land legitimately. And if I can get one, yes, together with Claudio, we can get to the bottom of this.
Are you sure the person will be willing and open to take?
That's good to be. I mean, just telling us how the process is. I mean, we're not going to deal with the issues of his department. Probably we're going to do that when he gets offline. But whilst he's on there, we're just going to just take us through how can we buy a land legitimately without a problem legally. You know, and I know there's a lot of conflict between the Ghana Surveying Department, the Lands Commission, and the local government. There's no cohesion. They don't share data, and it's a problem. We know all that. But, I mean, if you get a system like this, that every department can just go in there and get the information they need. They don't have to beg anybody. You know, it will make life easier for us, the users.
Yeah, and the reason why probably some of us are not really happy with because we heard about this LIS a long time ago. I personally heard about this like 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
What?
It's true, yeah. I personally heard about this LIS.
It's even more than that. LIS was I heard about this when I was in university. That's 2000.
Kwame, what is the formula of LIS? Land what?
Land information system.
Oh, land information system. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I heard about this when I was in uni.
What?
And that's a long time ago. So this issue of waiting for them to finish, it's not an issue.
When are they going to finish?
Project implementation is just something I don't know. Maybe they should be teaching it in. I don't know the way we.
Oh, they teach it in school.
We implement projects in Ghana. Sometimes it makes you feel like what is going on?
And what's going to surprise you is that even the lecturer that taught you that that course will be the one leading this project.
So Kwame, just briefly, do you know when the expected date for completing this whole $1 million projects that they are embarking on? Do you know when it's expected to finish?
If it wasn't for today, I didn't even know that it's online. It's all shrouded in secrecy, and you know, it has to take an insider for you to know about it. But
yeah, I guess
when Bawumia said he was going to bring it, he was going to try digitize registration. It brought me back all the way. I was telling the other time when we were having a conversation that when Aliu Mama became vice president and he was an engineer and he had some surveying background, everybody was happy because we thought the GIS was going to be put in place then. And it did not work. So another vice president saying it, you know, kind of gave me a little hope. But yet there was a caveat that it might end up the same. But I think this guy is pretty.
I also have trust in this particular reason because I think his reason is not necessarily the GIS, but the economic benefit.
The economic benefit. He wants the money.
Benefit. And so I think that is really good, and I think I really support that.
And I hope he's not just going to give the contract to some IT guy to do a Google thing and just end it there, but just find a proper GIS professional like yourself, Claudio, and to work on this project, people that have passion for this project, because the geomatic department of KNUST, like they are dying for such a program because all our researchers and everything relies on programs like this. And so this has to, I kind of have more hope than I did the last time that this is going to go through.
Yeah.
So Kwame, with the, what do you call it? How does our system, like if you, just because here land is owned by the state, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, or the counties, right?
No,
Like
it's not. Land is owned by individuals, just like Ghana.
here, the lands are owned by individuals.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought the lands are owned by like, what do you call it, the state, and then they decide how the. I see.
Yeah, but I think for tax purposes, whatever piece of transaction that occurs on the land has to be reported, and so that's why you probably get the idea that it's owned by the state or the county.
The state, okay.
Yeah, like Claudio said in the beginning, they have an interest. The state has an interest in every piece of land.
Why won't you have an interest? Because you have to take taxes.
Yeah, because once Daniel decides to sell his house to Kwame, there's going to be money exchange. And so the government will have to have some tax about. So government in the USA has paid for all this GIS system that we were talking about. Every local government has paid for his, knowing that most of the financial benefits comes to them.
Yeah. I mean, every year you have to pay taxes on your
property taxes and all that.
So even if you had the land that is not being developed, the government still like collects a tax on it. Every year.
Yeah. You pay taxes
because there's value on
the land, on undeveloped land.
The taxes are charged on the value on the land. And so if I have a property like a house, what is the value of the land? So that's how.
Unless you're using the land for public use, like if you go to Asheville, there's this huge castle-like mansion built by the Vanderbilts that they've donated it as a park to the city of Asheville. So Asheville let them own the land, they let them own their mansion, but people can go in and look at it as like a museum and pay money back to the council, so that they can excuse you from paying taxes. That's between you and the government. But every piece of land, you have to pay taxes on it.
I bring that back to Ghana. In Ghana, do we pay taxes on every piece of land? Because I know there was a land that I bought that they said is service, what do you call it? Service plot land, government service plot land. And then every year I have to pay something they call rent. I don't know if that is tax. That doesn't look like tax to me. But
that's not tax. There's a law for everybody to pay property taxes in Ghana. One of the major problems for district assemblies and local government is trying to get these revenues from the owners of the land. Because first of all, sometimes they don't even know the owners.
And that's where the GIS comes in.
That's where the GIS comes in. They don't know the owners. They can't trace the owners. They can't find them. And sometimes they don't even have records as to which people have paid and who have not paid.
Okay.
So if this system, like if a small town, like I was asking Claudio, if a small town can just gather the little money they have and put their own LIS system or GIS system in place, the amount of revenue the local government is going to get from putting the system in place is going to make other cities say, you know what, let's do it.
So Claudia, if I take you to say my district and I just say map the land in my district, and then that means I'll have to get you the data about the owners of the land, right?
Yeah, so that is one piece that is needed to create a land information system, because you want to know every transaction on the land. And it's and I think that, like I said, I think that might be the one reason why, if they have the database, they actually might have the database fully built with all the records in there. But once you put it out there, you are saying that this is the person that owns the land. And I think that is the controversial million question, that for some of the lands they cannot.
So that for some of the land, you are saying that it's possible somebody doesn't own it or somebody own it and it's a different person, and the conflict.
And the Lands Commission doesn't want to take full control and put that information out there. So I think that's the problem.
So how do
basically corruption? Somebody that is not supposed to own the land, and he doesn't want anybody to know about it.
So basically, that's the reason why we are saying that for the little that you've done, if you are certain about all the information, put it out there, and let's be proactive and add on to it instead of trying to go to the archive.
Let me go back into law now, because I'm now going to talk about privacy issues here and pick your mind on this. This is if that is why I was asking the initial question whether the lands here are owned by government or individuals. How did they resolve that issue about that private person that don't want his land record to be out there? Because I'm thinking that now if they put that information out there in Ghana, I can search my uncle's name or my brother's name, somebody, and just know that my brother bought a land maybe in Kaswa. Before I wouldn't know that, right?
Yeah. No,
how do you resolve like those concerns about the people who own this land? Say, hey, you can't be putting my information out there for my brother who doesn't know, who lives in Tamale and doesn't know that I bought a land in Accra to now know that I have a land in Accra.
Because according to law, information about ownership of land should be public.
It's public information.
It's public information. You can't hide it. So over here, what they do is that they will form an LLC and use the LLC to buy the land. So if you go the information, especially over here, Tuskegee, there's a road called Tuskegee, and people are just buying lands left, right, center. Almost every land belongs to an LLC.
So they're using company. They're hiding behind.
They're hiding behind companies. And even if the LLC, if you go to the SOS, Secretary of State, and type the LLC, you see the owners.
Yeah,
so there's no way you can hide
even that. Just to add, the land in Ghana is the individual doesn't actually own it. The person owns it for how many years? Like 99 years.
You can lease it for 99 if you're a citizen.
So it's
not that sense of ownership. What about the ownership that identifies my name to the property for that 99 years? What I'm talking about here. Who cares? At 99 years, the person who is going to look that you own the land doesn't care after 99 because he himself is not going to be around, right?
But you see, land in essence, it's the public has to have interest in that land, because.
Then I think some sensitization, Kwame, has to go ahead of if they want to release this information public. Because I'm just
what is wrong about people knowing
that you bought this land?
This is the problem. I don't have a problem if somebody knows that I have a land, but this is what I'm telling. Somebody's like, it's my personal property. Why is your business publishing it and telling? I don't know. We might end up in the court for somebody challenging them on this on privacy issues, unless there's a law that says, hey, regardless of whether you have privacy issues, this is the law of the land. It has to be made public.
Well, I mean, let me show you. I think that information is already public.
Let me show you a quick example.
Maybe that information is already public because if you have your land that is being surveyed by, let's say, the survey department, they record your information.
They record your information.
Go to the survey department.
So let's go on Allen Street in Charlotte and just click on a lot. So now we know that Catherine Bowen owns this land. And even how much she bought the land is over there.
Right.
The property. And if you click on this, they are going to show you the map, every little thing you need to know. See, it takes you to the county register of deeds. And you can find out every information, even the deed, the legal documents that were written on during the exchange. It's there. Because that's the law, and we have the same law in Ghana. There's no difference.
All right, so then we shouldn't have a problem. Then make it public, and let's all play around.
That's why Claudio and I has been sitting on here for 2 hours lamenting. So like, why are you going to?
Because I'm very much interested in looking at some lands, man. Some places.
So are you happy with people in Lands Commission being able to have that same information that you will be interested in?
That you paid for, but you cannot see.
Because if you are interested in probably, let's say, checking how many lands your uncle owns, someone in Lands Commission can do that and give it to you if you want, if you pay that person. That's the information.
It's true. So
put it
on. And it's not a GIS system.
Kwame,
if it doesn't have an interface.
You see why this thing is very important. Hey, it will expose. You see, and this is the transparency we need, right?
Exactly.
You can, if that Kwame, a lot of the corruption, this thing can lead us to uncover a lot of what is going on under the ground.
Exactly.
So now you see,
we will see who owns out the prime lines and how come it got transferred. We have all that information flowing through the system.
Yeah. See, so now you understand when we say that. I mean, it's not a GIS system if it doesn't have an interface for public to use it.
Yeah.
So Claudio described when we started. Claudio described what a GIS system is, and he said it's in 3 phases, and all of them have to be together for it to be called a GIS. Until you are the only person that can see it, but nobody else are. You can't even describe it as a GIS.
Yes.
It's information to you alone. So what is the purpose?
Exactly. I think at this point we have to end it here. We went to 10 o'clock. Wow. So if anybody has some few information to share before we go off air, and I don't know if I'm going to get to you next week, Claudio, but
Claudio, where is Claudio based? North Carolina?
No,
Atlanta.
Oh, Georgia. All right. Okay.
Yeah, I'm available, so that's fine. I mean, it's something that we are all passionate about. We really want this thing to work, and I probably might. I didn't know about the vice president initiative. Great step for me, so it's something I'm going to really research and see what the end goal is.
Right.
Yeah, I think that I have friends who did like GIS. And then Kwame, like I said, they always use it for some interesting stuff, even for being able to know tie the voting patterns of people and how that relates to land ownership and all.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot of interesting stuff that you would do.
That's what all GIS is about.
Yeah.
And the more you create it and the more information that you put in, the better is it for everybody, for researchers, for students, for the common person who just wants to know something about something.
Yeah, I mean, we look at election time. Like previously, Ghana, we were not using that maps, and that is GIS at play.
Right.
People like that. People like to see the presenters clicking on it
and pulling the population. And
so why can't we have the same thing for the land? It's the same thing. We want that.
Yeah.
It's and it's going to solve a whole lot of problems, like this conflict that can go on for ages.
The chiefs are going to be hard because now we can see what they're doing, right?
Exactly.
We can see what land they are selling, who is selling, how it got transferred. Kwame, I hope they don't come fighting because these people, they want to do everything secretly. Nobody sees what is going on. They sold 500 pieces of the community land to somebody and nobody knows,
Yeah, I mean, GIS, I think if you remember this little history, I mean, every GIS class starts with that. I've forgotten the name of the doctor that started it in Soho. London, that there was a cholera outbreak in London around that time.
Oh, John Snow. And he mapped all the wells around London, and then that was basically the first. That wasn't the first GIS. The first GIS was from the Egyptians anyway. Yeah.
But that was one of the GIS that he used to solve that problem of cholera.
Yeah.
Where it was coming from, and that's what GIS is for.
Yeah, I mean, currently in my role, we use GIS a lot. I work in collaboration with the CDC to pinpoint hotspots, to distribute vaccines, to find where there are hotspots for COVID currently happening, and essentially to minimize the risk of spreading to the general population, right? And so we use that information. That information is out there. It's public. You can go to CDC COVID tracker. You can have all those. You can look at all those maps. You can look at where there are hotspots, right? So it's the same thing with the land. Put it out there. Let everybody know what's happening here. I'm also curious to find out who owns some land in my yeah. That would be an interesting one. Yeah. I never even thought about that, but I think that would be interesting. I want to see it. I also do have
a day of recording is coming.
It is going to come. It is going to come. It has to come. It has to come.
All right. So on that happy note, we're just going to leave it there, and same time next Thursday. We're going to do this land issue for about a month, so you're going to see the same faces talking about land and some other different spaces. And if anybody has an issue, if anybody has gone to Ghana and tried to buy a land and gone through some trouble, and you can send us a Facebook message to the High Life Radio platform, and then we can bring you on, tell us what your problem is, and then
but Kwame, currently you're able to use Google Maps to look at a land, right? Just that you can't know who owns it, right?
Yeah, you can use Google Earth to show you the geolocation of the land, but that's just a little bit of the information.
Yeah,
I think.
Because mind you, most of those images probably, if they have trees, there'll be canopies, and so you might not be able to actually see some structures, right?
I see. Okay.
So it's a little bit slightly different from what they want to create, and that is what they have to do, because that is what is being done all over the world, right?
So like GIS is just like Google Earth, but more accurately. It can pinpoint more accurately and a lot of information on it. So you can click a piece of land and give you more information than what Google will give you. So at this point, I think we just have to, finish there. Claudia, thank you very much for being on it. I'm hoping you can be on it next week. And Narasar, I know you are very ill, but you're always a champion of this program, and you always come to be on it and give us a dimension, ask us more questions. So on next Thursday, we meet again and we continue with this issue. Okay. All right. Thank you very much.